going on, Legion? Azrael here, like always, and we got the Darkest Hour. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it's about. Let's check it out. See what it's all about. Maybe it'll be good. Ba-ba-da.
We must now select my successor, and it's only one man the opposition will accept.
He stands for one thing, and one thing
Churchill.
only, himself.
Oh. Is this a World War II thing?
Why have I been forced to send for Churchill? His record is a catastrophe.
Or is this his...
Let them see your true qualities, your lack of vanity.
And my iron will.
Your sense of humour.
Oh, is this like the rise of Churchill?
Your Majesty.
It is my duty to invite you to take up the position of Prime Minister of this United Kingdom.
I speak to you for the first time as Prime Minister.
The Germans have encircled 60 British and French divisions. We are
This
looking
is
at the
awesome.
collapse of Western Europe within the next few days.
Oh, hell yeah.
How long have they
Oh,
got
shit,
if we don't
yeah.
rescue them?
Maybe 2 days. We would need a miracle to get our men out.
You have the full weight of the world on your shoulders.
We're facing certain defeat on land, the annihilation of our army, and imminent invasion. We must negotiate peace talks.
When will the lesson be learned? You cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth!
Nonsense. The only slippery slope.
Would you stop interrupting me while I am interrupting you? We have before us many long months of struggle and suffering. Even though many old and famous states have fallen into the grip of the Nazi rule, we shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender! For without victory, there can be no survival.
No survival. Dude, Winston Churchill was a boss. Dude was incredible. For anybody that is interested in the history of the World War, specifically the second one, there was constant visits. Now, to speak from the American side of things, there was a constant annoyance from the UK, which was Winston Churchill, constantly inviting, asking, and I say pleading with the most respect I can for the man, for America to get involved in the World War. America did not want to get involved because the way you read about it, or at least the way I read about it, and there's documentaries on Netflix that kind of, I think, say the same thing, where America viewed it, because it wasn't a world war at that time. America looked at it as a civil war in EU. That's what it looked like. It looked like a civil war. And America didn't want to get involved, and then, I think that maybe some of the leaders in America maybe kind of turned a blind eye the fact that Hitler was going beyond the borders of the EU, the Eurasia continent. He was going to Africa and making his way to everywhere else where there was Czechs and all that other stuff. And so it wasn't until Hitler doomed himself pretty much, where Japan wanted, I believe, China, and Hitler wanted the Americas, the U.S., and the way I remember it from an old documentary, this may have changed, I don't know, but the way they said it in this documentary was that Hitler pretty much, to sum it up, Hitler was like, if you help me take America, I'll help you take China. And that's kind of where Pearl Harbor came from. The biggest mistake ever. For anybody that doesn't know, America was sending, our workforce was already in overdrive. Because even though we didn't want to get involved how do you say, I can't say the word, militaristically, Jesus, is that even the right one? There's like 8 versions going through my head. Did I pick the right one? Let me know. We were still sending, I believe, food, but for most, like, ammo, tanks, boats. America was sending all the resources we could to the UK because we didn't want the UK to fall. Because the UK is like, you know, we're like brothers pretty much. You know, we come from the same place. It's just we said, you know what, we're going to be on our own. That's a whole different thing. But we were already sending as much aid as, you know, we were authorizing or could, or however you want to phrase it. We were already doing that for all of that. And then Pearl Harbor happens, and America was like, yo, what the fuck? No declaration, no nothing. And that's when the Allied forces became more than just Europe. And Churchill was a guy that was constantly asking for us to be involved, to give more than what measly we were giving. Which, if we were giving something measly, I don't know. I don't know if we were giving a lot or a little bit or whatever. And when the Queen, I believe, and her family went outside of the capital, I believe, outside of London, I believe they were outside of any threat zone because they were the royal family. And this is like the Queen, the present Queen, when she was, you know, 20, I believe, younger, or I don't know the exact age. She was like doing like things on the radio, I believe. She was doing everything she could within her power that her family would allow her to do. And, she had to, be in a safe area, but she was just as much a fighter. She was no stranger to, walking through a battlefield or anything like that. Not like saying she wasn't a battle or anything, but she wasn't no prissy, fine clothes, proper. She's proper, but it was war, and you got to roll up your sleeves and get dirty, and she was all for it. And Churchill was just right. He was in the smack middle of it, being the biggest boss. I don't mean like boss as like rule. I mean like badass that you could ever hope for. Whenever you think of people from the UK, you think of like the Iron Maiden or whatever. That one woman, which I believe was the first woman to. I don't want to say the wrong name, but her, Churchill, the Queen. They're all like from the same cloth, minus the royalty part, of like backbone and steel and the hardship. And when shit got real tough, it wasn't your background, it wasn't your blood, it wasn't anything. It was who you were as an individual, a human being, that separated those people I named beyond all other people in their capital and all everywhere else. Those people were some of the only reasons why that nation stayed the way it was because of them, because of Churchill doing what he had to do, and everyone else that balled up, nutted up, whatever you want to call it, and did what they had to do to die and fight. And it was no different when America got involved, because there's a lot of casualties in that kind of regard. And when I see people in real movies about real people that did real awesome things for their people, it just gets you right here, man. It makes you feel good. You're like, yeah, that guy was such a badass. That guy was so fucking cool, and just an epic man or woman to do what was needed. No crying, no bitching. It was hard, probably. Of course it was. Obviously, whatever their technology was back then, as far as central heating and lighting and everything like that, and food was gone. It was in shambles the way they were living. And he was, well, that speech right there, that was it. He was a crotchety old man that said, "This is my lawn. Nazis, get the fuck off my lawn," for the most part, to sum that up real nice right there. Yeah. So I am 100% going to be watching this. No doubt. I'll watch it 3 or 4 times one day. I don't give a fuck. It looks awesome. It portrays a great story from a great individual, and maybe we'll get to see a little bit of the Queen in there and what her role was. Yeah, man, it was definitely something I want to watch more than I think than anything in recent Marvel movie. Aliens, could have missed it. This, gotta see it. I want to see it. I hope it's good. I hope it doesn't disappoint. With that, I can't say enough nice things about the idea of this movie. I haven't seen anything else about it. First trailer right here. I really hope it's good. On a side note, again, from the American side of things, there's a lot of people like, oh man, the atom bomb, the A-bomb, oh my god, that was so brutal, that was so this, that was so that. I can't believe it was just... In wartime, for me personally, I've always said in wartime, those things happen. After that, you know, when people go, it was just so, like, over the top, it was not. If you go, what the fuck? If you watch, again, Netflix has all these World War II documentaries. There's one that specifically focuses on, if you're somebody that's not from America, or if you're from America and you just don't know this, sorry for the sniffles, it's just, whew. But if you are somebody from, like, say, the UK that's checking this out or something like that, go on Netflix, check out the documentary from the U.S. perspective of World War II about us versus the Japanese and the naval battles. And just how they were just so, like, insanely powerful, and, like, we somehow just dismantled them. In Japan, this is one thing whenever it goes, the bombs, oh my god. When Japan says, we will die as a nation before we surrender, you obliterate them. Hands down. There is no more argument. Japan says, we will die and never surrender. And America went, we have lost so many lives because of your bullshit and your ways. And this is not one of those whole America, no. We didn't start the war. We didn't get involved in it for the most part. We didn't egg it on. We didn't do anything involving that. We were put involved in it. Possibly also because of our aid to the UK, but that was humanitarian for the most part. Or that's just how it works. You support the good guy. The UK and France and, Swedes and all that, they're good people. Swedes are just, but good people. And it's just like the terrorism today. You support the countries to combat the terrorists. Nazi was just a very organized country of terrorists. But when they said that they will die before surrendering to America or the Allies in general, you go, well, we didn't want to be in this war. We've lost tons of lives, generations just gone, and this war is turning to the point of it's a war of attrition. It's who's going to die more before the other gives up. And for humanity's sake, on our people, America, and our citizens, we said, we can look at it now, but they're Nazis. They were Nazis. They were allies to the Nazis. There is no whatever. It's just like, we will die, our country will die and burn before we surrender to you. And we said, your wish is our command. And we stopped it right there. 2 bombs that night, the next day, whatever. We're like, we surrender. And that's how you stop more and more casualties from happening. I was talking to my dad about the same subject some time ago, and he said when he was growing up, there was not a lot of discussion about attacking military targets. It was attacking the target, which was your enemy. Nowadays, it's all about civilians are in the way or this or that, and in that it may have been a thing, but it wasn't like a rule. I don't believe, unless I'm mistaken. And the 2 bombs kind of show that. And I think when you look at it that way, when you say, hey, when a country says that their country will run red before we surrender to that country, and we're the ones that started it, something bad's going to happen to you. Hands down. It's just going to be bad. As an American, I am kind of curious to see if we make any kind of appearance in this movie as a country. As an American, that is something that I'm all for, seeing Churchill and his badassery. But I also want to see if the war it has more than just a little, microscope onto just that one thing, or if it just kind of shows a lot of everything around one man. So I kind of want to see if America has any part in this movie at all. Personal, selfish reasons, whatever. It'd just be really cool. And so with that, I think I want to get out of here. Talking for 14 minutes. If you stayed to the end of this video, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I try to do some more in my reactions than just give you the typical smile, nod, oh my god, it was so cool, later, y'all, kind of, thing. I try to have something more to say, my personal thoughts, what I hope for the movie, all that stuff in between. So with that, again, I'm going to get out of here. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Like the video, like the content. You can always like, subscribe, share. Remember, it's completely up to you. I do appreciate it, though. It does help me out in some way or another. And yeah, once again, my name is Azrael. I'll see you on whatever video I'm doing next. Later, guys.